Is about the commissioner to thank you all for your indulgence. Commissioner Hauser had a wonderful service, and those of you that know that, the others, I know you keep the family in their prayers, in your prayers. So I guess the first thing we probably ought to do is kind of set the stage for where we think we are, make sure we're where we think we are. We have a motion by Commissioner Vance, and Madam Clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Bailey, a motion by Commissioner Vance to approve $2.61 tax rate for the budget year coming up. It has been amended by Commissioner George to reduce that to $2.55, which is the current rate, with a 2 to 3% cut across the board on those areas that Mr. Bailey can identify we can legally cut without affecting maintenance of effort in any area. So, and you heard the testimony of the department heads and elected officials. We had amendment number 1 to amendment number 1 by Commissioner Locke. And Commissioner Locke, we're still on that amendment. We have not taken a vote on it. So I think that we need to deal with your amendment and then get, depending on the outcome, get back to Commissioner George's amendment. Does everybody agree that that's where we were and what your understanding is? Okay, Commissioner Glover, you're recognized.
Can we still talk about adding amendments to this particular resolution that's got to do with $100?
It's going to be open as soon as we deal with the amendments that are on the floor. I'll ask for other amendments to the resolution.
Okay.
Okay. And it will be open to each of you to look at it, and we'll go on. So, Commissioner Locke, what's your, Commissioner King, do you have a?
Yes. I just want to say something. Colette, this is from experience. I've been through what you're proposing.
Let's deal with others first.
Okay, and then I'll.
Do that, and I'll recognize you first on the amendment.
I appreciate it.
Hunter, you have a amendment on the floor, and pardon my, calling you Hunter, Commissioner Locke. You have an amendment on the floor, probably second. You want to speak on that?
Just renew the motion.
You renew your motion for passage. Any further discussion on Commissioner Locke? Commissioner Vance, you're recognized.
I want to make sure I understand this right. His amendment is to, instead of being 10, it's for 20 officers. Is that correct?
That's what the record is.
Okay. So in correlation with that motion, what are we talking about percentage-wise to fund 20 officers? Because I think that we looked at 2 to 3% to fund 10. Am I right? Am I following this?
I'm going to have to refer that to Mr. Bailey. And he was smart, he looked. Ms. Bailey, Ms. Vance had questions of the percentage. I don't know what you mean by percentage. Is it cents per 100 to fund 20 deputies?
Yeah, I understood to say that 2 to 3% across the board cut would fund 10 officers in SRO. Ms. George made a motion.
That motion's not on the table right now.
But if we approve his for 20,
That we'll go back to her motion.
then we'll have to increase the percentage of the cuts across the board.
I think that explanation.
I just want to make sure I.
So are you ready to vote on Amendment 1A to Amendment 1 by Locke and Cole? Looks like we're ready to vote. When the board opens, cast your vote. Sure. No, that's not right. It's to cut 20.
It's not to cut, it's to implement 20 instead of 10. If this fails, we go back to 10, and we vote on her resolution.
Okay, then I've misunderstood your, so the motion is to fund 20 additional corrections officers.
And if it fails, we go back to 10, take a vote on her
Well,
resolution.
we'll have to see what it fails, then we'll decide what we're gonna do. But, everybody understand that? I was wrong on calling the motion. You're voting on adding 20 plus two medical officers.
It'd be 18.
I'm gonna ask Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bailey, this is in the general appropriation budget, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
Isn't 20 officers in the general appropriation budget?
Yes.
Amendment is not needed. It's in the general appropriation budget.
She brought it down to 10, and
She hasn't passed her, she has not passed her amendment. We'll vote on it. The board open? When the board opens, cast your vote. I want to do what the will of the commission is. Looks like we'll stop and have further questions if you want, because there's some confusion. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
10 yes, 12 no, 2 absent.
The amendment 1A, 1 fails. Commissioner George, you renew your motion.
My motion is what is, I still have my motion on the table, which is to do the cuts across the board.
Let's turn our microphone on, okay?
Sorry.
Everybody else from here, I came up here,
I am renewing my motion, which was to cut 2 to 3% across the board, not affecting maintenance of effort or any other thing we can't affect, being grants and salaries and things that we are not allowed to cut, to pay, the 1 cent for the SROs, having the school pay the other, and I think my amendment was 10, a total of 10, 8 officers and 2 medic for the sheriff's department.
Your motion is to cut everything cuttable except sheriff's department, that's to add 10 employees in sheriff's department, 2 medical.
Everything except maintenance of effort, yeah, and then, yes.
Is that right? Okay, this is, on amendment number 1. The lady renews her motion, second's renewed, do we have any discussion? Any questions?
Can I discuss now?
You're ready. David, I'll get you on, 1 second, thank you.
Okay, this is coming from experience. I tried this once when I was here before, when we tried to cut 5% across the board. You talking about 2 big hornets nest out here and rattlesnakes and stuff crawling around your feet, that's what you're gonna be faced with. I understand where we're at. I went through this, and it's not pretty. I would recommend that we would not do this, because when you're doing this, you're affecting every department, everything in the whole county. That's going back to your volunteer fire departments, I mean, EMS, everything that we're doing, you're cutting. I make a suggestion that our mayor would go to the department heads and ask them if they could cut 3%, if they could cut in their budget, or whatever. Are they gonna be willing to do that? Probably not, but it's a gesture. But if we go through this, I mean, it's not gonna be pretty, and it will affect, and you talk about the courtroom being full, they'll be standing in the room only, and they'll be back there wanting to fight and throw things at you and everything else. I tell you, I've been there, done that. You'll have telephone calls and death threats and all this other stuff, and I'm telling you that just expect it if we continue down this road that we're following with this, this amendment.
Can I respond to that? I mean, Mr. King, I totally agree with that, but what we've had is everyone has stood here and said, we are not increasing taxes. We have voted and need some items that we have to pay for. And when I came on this council, we've had a credit card all year. And every time I've said, do we have the money? Yeah, but it's reducing it out of our general fund, which will kill our bond rating. But at the end of the day, we have spent a lot of money in the time I've been on this commission. We all voted to pass things, we've all spent money. I am very comfortable raising taxes to cover what I said I supported, but this commission is not. So if you can't raise taxes to pay for the things we bought, then the next thing you have to do is make cuts. All I know to do is cut across the table and let everybody come back and then come in here and ask. So that's why I make this amendment. But I think this is gonna hurt the people in our county to lose the services. But that's where I feel this, I mean, based on what people have said here, if you wanna keep taxes the same, you gotta make cuts. You put up something else on the table to cut. I said across the board, so that's my amendment.
Commissioner Vance, this is on your motion, so I'll recognize you and then get to
Well,
Commissioner Aker.
I just wanna make a point, a comment, that for the new commissioners to understand, we're dealing with the budget. But normally in November and December, we start dealing with healthcare costs for our employees. And we don't know what that cost is gonna be. We usually don't know that until somewhere around December. We have to renew the healthcare benefits for our employees in January. Just remember that if we stretch this budget tight and there's no flexibility, then what could be is an impact of passing down a higher cost to our employees for healthcare costs. So when you spend out of your fund balance like we're trying to do and cutting budgets, that's okay, but we've got a big ticket item we face every year coming in December and January. So I just wanna let you all know, I'm against spending our fund balance down because we've done that before in the past years, not pay as we go. I think government talks about pay as we go. So if we take our fund balance down, we're putting ourselves in for a failure mode to have a much larger tax increase in a year or so coming down the road.
Thank you, Commissioner Akers, you're right now.
Thank you, Chairman Bill. I have said that I'm against a tax increase. That doesn't mean that eventually I'm not gonna vote for one, I just wasn't gonna vote for it the first vote we had 10 months into it without having this discussion. Maybe a month late on this. But I think, we talk about economic development and, in June, I think it was June 25th, when we were in here on that Tuesday, two big, large companies announced that day, Mitsubishi and some tech firm, Plinko, announced they were relocating to Tennessee. Now, just in my little experience in life, every time some company announces they relocate, I never heard them say, we relocated because we want to pay higher taxes. But having said that, we all know, every 24 rows, and I don't know, there's probably about 50 people out there, 60. We know we've got a huge increase coming with whatever is decided on the jail, And so I was actually going to take Colette's amendment, because I've been doing all this math over here. My idea was a 5% cut across the board. Well, now after hearing all these conversations, it doesn't look like it's really feasible. I'll just be honest, it's not, There's so much that has been done in the past. And I'll admit that, everyone talks about the new kids or, those of us. Well, we kind of had 4 meetings on the budget, but it was just kind of presented and said, here it is, And so, I'll just be completely honest, sitting here right now and talking and hearing everybody, and a few of the emails we got, just 1 or 2 comments I got on social media, I'm more apt to just go ahead and say, let's raise it 20 cents. Let's knock it out. Because if we do 7 cents this year, that just balances the budget. Then next year, we're probably gonna have a tax increase, and then next year, we're gonna have tax, because we've got a looming issue coming. And so if we go ahead and do 20 cents right here, I was just doing some math in my head, or right here. That'll give us, in the next 3 years, $10,500,000 to the general fund. And kind of help go ahead and bank the money. we can sit here and just go ahead and do a few cents now, a few cents now, a few cents. Or just go ahead and do it so everyone knows where we stand, you know? And maybe this is the year to do it. No one's up for reelection for 3 more years. I'm just saying, I mean, we talk about, you know, we all have a fiduciary responsibility. This is not the federal government. We don't print the money. This is not monopoly money. This is every one of our hard-earned money. Everyone sitting in that audience, that's their hard-earned money. Some people are on fixed incomes. Some people, you know, if we do a 2% cost of wage increase, well, it's kind of getting taken over by the tax. And there's just no good answer. I mean, I sat here and struggled with trying to figure out how to make this work. I don't think we can. Just be honest. I mean, and that's why I don't ever want to pigeonhole myself in. I mean, I said I'm against a tax increase. Of course, we all should be. But at the end of the day, where are we going to get the money? We haven't figured it out. I mean, if we do a 5% cut across the board, well, can you take it out of this? No, you can't take it out of the 100 account. You can't take it out of the 200 account. I mean, it's complicated stuff. And so, I mean, I think I'm more apt to be able to look at my constituents in the eye and say, yeah, we put all the chips on the table. We just went all in, you know? And that's where we are. And because we're going to get there in 3 or 4 years, I have a feeling. I mean, if you looked at the rates where I mean, at one time we were at 267, we were at 263, and then they dropped it, and we've come back all in the 2000s, you know? And I mean, it is a tough question. I want to vote when I hear a good, solid resolution to vote on. And I don't know what that is. I've struggled trying to bring that resolution, because I really thought we could cut. I don't know if I can now. I mean, I don't, you know. I've had as many people tell me to cut the budget as I have said they can take a tax increase, you know. So I don't know. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Stanley, I don't mind the clock now, because we can be here all night. That's fine.
Thank you, Chairman. David, you made a very good point, you know, about how we could fund these positions and stuff. I want everybody to sit here and remember every single one of us sitting here in this chamber tonight. If we did not have duplication of services here in this county, we've got 3 courts. Guess who's funding all 3 of those courts with staff? The county does. The cities don't staff those. We could take those staff from the Kingsport Court and from the Bristol Court. We wouldn't be right here right now asking for a tax increase for these officers. We could take those people right there and put those up there in the jail, and we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. And we're all about this regionalism. We're gonna have to all start working together in all of these cities and counties and try to quit doing duplication of services to where it's tripling the cost of the taxpayers. That is one huge way that we could fix this problem, and nobody's wanting to address it. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Mr. Cole, you're recognized.
Yes, I was actually going to touch on that. I'm doing research right now on a resolution to put on a referendum for 2022 to consolidate services instead of having a Sullivan County Highway Department, Bristol City, Kingsport City. Let's do it all and let the people vote for it. If they want to consolidate the government, they will have the final say so. And let's go back to the employees. You remember Chief Cargill came up here. It was 56. 56 was a good number. Okay, let's work with it. We won't get 56, 32. 20 is the minimum we can go. We're almost at 1,000 in there. And that's still not going to be a drop in the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. I just comment that you 24 people have tremendous authority. Do lots of things. I've always said, if you'd like to sell the courthouse, you can. So, I appreciate that comment particularly. Mr. Glover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could I ask the chief deputy to come back up and answer a question for me, if you would? He's already gone? Okay. Well, we just voted a minute ago on 20 officers, and we voted no. So we're down to 10. We can do this. We can fund the SROs. We can do the 10 jail employees. Let's not classify who the jail employees are. Here is you 10 employees for the jail. You're the sheriff. You put these employees where you best feel they need to be put or where they're fit. And let's do the 2% raise for the county employees and leave it, the tax rate at $255. We're putting $600,000 back in the general fund tomorrow night off the sewer agreement that we've, of course, that's not been voted on yet, but I'm hoping that that money will be put back in the general fund tomorrow night. The $296,000 that was voted on a couple of, a week or so ago for Bristol and Kingsport, I think at this point in time that the SRO officers are more important, the 10 employees for the jail are more important, and the 2% raise for the county employees are more important. So if we take that 296 out, we're putting this 600,000 back in tomorrow night's meeting, I think that that will balance out and we won't have to raise taxes a penny, leave the rate at 255 and go with it. And that way there won't be any cuts to the school department, there won't be any cuts to any other departments, and we'll all be on the same page. I think we owe it to the county employees, I think we owe it to the teachers, and I think we owe it to the sheriff. But now, we've done a lot for that sheriff's department this year. We have. We funded 30-some vehicles. We've done these SROs, and the 10 employees, the 20 or 9 thing, listen, we're here to protect the county taxpayers' money. That's what we're here for. So if we can do 10, fund the SROs, do a 2% raise for the county employees and not cut anything, I think that's what this commission should go with. And I would appreciate your support on it. If I could get a second on it, and let's move forward with it.
You're putting that in form of a motion.
Yes, sir.
To amend amendment 1B to amendment 1. Do we,
Do we vote mine down first and then do the other?
I'm sorry?
Mine's still on the table.
Let me turn your microphone
My motion's on the table, can we call for a vote, vote it, and then other people can put other things on the table?
on. In my interpretation of Robert's rules, that to amend your motion.
Okay, so Herschel's amended
It's
my
a proper
motion,
I'm sorry?
so is Herschel amending my amendment?
If you accept.
Is that what you chose to do, Herschel? You want to vote on hers?
Let's vote on hers first, and then we'll vote on mine.
Well, we're gonna vote on yours. I'm gonna recognize him and make a motion after we vote on yours. Mark, you sponsor the wrong.
I just had one question I wanted to ask Mr. Bailey, on Mr. Butler's amendment. So we're gonna go to Colette and then we're gonna come back to.
I told him I'd do that, but I've got 2 other people that want to talk, or 3 other people that want to talk on the amendment that's before us right now, which is Colette's amendment 1A to 1. Okay, I'll come back to you first.
Okay.
Mr. Collett.
I don't know if I'm on 1A or 1B or 1C, but I agree with Commissioner Aker. If we raise taxes a little bit over the years, we'll have what we need. If we hold now, it's either hold now and pay a lot later. So I'd rather do an increase every year until we get to where we need to be. I don't like taxes raised either. I'm a single father of 2 kids. I'm on a budget. Sometimes it has to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. This discussion is on Commissioner George's amendment, to amendment number 1. Commissioner King.
I wanna talk on his.
Okay, good.
So,
Well, no, let's get rid of
Commissioner
mine.
Martin, you want to speak on his too? I'll ask you to seek recognition. Okay, we're on your amendment, Commissioner George. Any further discussion? We have amendment. Okay, Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
23 no, 1 absent. Having failed to receive a sufficient number of votes, the amendment is rejected. We're back on the original amendment. And Commissioner Glover, I told you I would recognize you to amend the original amendment number 1. You're recognized.
The motion and amendment I put forward was just what I said a minute ago. We can do the funding for the SROs, we can do the 10 jail employees, and like I said, don't classify the jail employees. If he wants to put them in a nursery, if he wants to do a nurse practitioner, if he wants to do a jailer, he's got 10 employees. He's the sheriff, it's his department. I think we could work with him on that, and let's do the 2% raise for the county employees. We do not need to cut any departments as far as that goes. I think we've got the money available to do this. If we put in the $600,000 from the sewer deal tomorrow night back in the general fund, and drop the $296 from Bristol and Kingsport that was put in, I think that we can balance this out and do this with no tax increase this year.
Mr. Glover moves. If the clerk will record that motion to fund on the rate of 2,055 time of year. And I want to say the motion so we'll understand it. Within that 2,055 cents, instruct the account budget director to find funding for 10 additional people in the jail and to fund the 2% raise.
And for the SRO,
And fund the SRO.
for all the schools, for all the schools.
Okay, if that's proper. Mark, I've got you wrong, but I've got people that want to talk on the motion.
I'd like to get a physical note, cost it's going to be on our fund balance, because that's going to take more out of our fund balance. And Mr. Bailey, when he presented the budget, said our fund balance was 8.5 million. In this budget here, we're taking 1.7. That leaves 6.8 in the general fund balance. So how much more by doing what Dwight or Herschel's asking is going to pull out of our fund balance? We need to know what we're doing to our bottom line.
We have a proper motion on the floor, seconded by Commissioner Stanley, and you're responding to
I'm
the
asking
motion.
Mr. Bailey to tell us what's going to happen on our bottom line.
And you've asked Mr. Bailey to advise us on what the impact on the fund balance. Mr. Bailey.
Make it, you're saying pay for the 10 correctional officers, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's right.
And SROs and
2% raise for the county employees.
we're gonna be taking out the sewer appropriation and the fire departments,
Yes, sir.
hospital appropriation.
Yes, sir.
It looks like you're taking out just about as much as you're putting in there. Problem is, there are some other small amounts that aren't covered in this, but, we'll be working
But you told us the 2% raise was gonna cost 2 cents, so that's $700,000. We're adding back $584,297 for the fire departments. And then you're gonna have 700 more thousand you're gonna be pulling out for the raise.
We're taking out right at $1 million between fire and sewer. And, the raise is approximately $500-something thousand in the general ones I'm looking at. And the 10 employees, we said we've got more collected and more billed than expected now, about $350,000. So that cuts that back to $150,000. And then the SRO officers, that's been cut in half by schools paying half of it.
So you think we're okay with keeping the tax rate 255 and doing that?
Well, it's, I don't think we'll be gaining any fund balance next year when we do that, but I think that we won't be cutting it drastically. As you can see, those figures are meshing together pretty close to even.
So, health insurance, are you foreseeing an increase?
You probably don't remember what was said. This is the first year that I can ever remember. We do not have an increase in retirement rate or health insurance.
Okay.
We've been notified both. And, that is unusual, very unusual. Yes.
Yeah, we got any more?
Will it have any effect on our bond rating since we increase our expenditures but not increasing our revenue?
It doesn't help me because they do measure that and look at it. I've read the report again today, the different factors they look at. They look at our cash, they look at our fund balances, they look at our revenues ratio, and all those different factors like that. And, but we're within the margin of what we need to be, but we're on the weak side of most of those.
So our bond rating could be in jeopardy.
It could be, I guess, it comes down to the fact that a lot of people don't realize this, and you can't tell people not to say everything that needs to be said about an issue, because sometimes you don't realize who's listening to you. They do listen to us. And I know a few months ago, there was an issue stated in this body that got some attention outside the counties. I don't know how far, but it did. People noted it. What are your priorities in Sullivan County? As I said, and I'm not gonna mention the issue here, but it was brought up by people living elsewhere. You need to think about that. When you start saying things that may not be realistic to the rest of the world, what are your priorities? Are your priorities economic development, schools, corrections? All of it has some meaning, but to start differentiating which one's most important can be noticed. And, you know, one affects the other also. You know, economic development is a very important thing. You want a good community where people want to come to.
So if we keep our tax rate low, that's a good indication.
It is good, but it's not the best issue. I used to ask, how come counties like Williamson County, they got a lot of growth and they got a ton of bonds outstanding. They got no problem. They had better, I think they've got better credit rating than David we've got. Kingsport has as good or better than what we've got. They've got a lot of debt. We have a lot more than we used to have, but we still don't have a huge amount of debt compared to other governments. And our tax rate is, it's moderately high, but it's not really high. I was looking at Putnam County in the paper a few days ago, and I think they've got like 272, if I remember correctly. And they were looking at a 50-cent increase for schools, and I think they narrowed it to 21 cents. I happen to use them as an example because they are a growth county that has a lot of sales tax coming in. I'm a little bit familiar with it. So, you know, it's not one factor. Willingness to be responsible is one of the most important factors. You know, hey, these are people loaning us money. They gotta make sure we're gonna step up and pay it off on time. We will, but they like to see that effort shown, that it's, if you're willing to borrow, you're willing to pay.
Well, if we can do it, let's vote on it. Let's do it.
Ms. Matt says your answer.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. In fact, Commissioner King, he had asked to be recognized on this amendment. Be recognized by.
I agree with, Commissioner Glover. I was kind of brainstorming over here, that's dangerous, but anyway. Back several years ago, we did a $500 Christmas bonus for all our employees. All full-time employees, I think maybe part-timers, we did $200. I have more comments over that than anything that we've done in this chamber in years. They said, thank you. We had $500 at Christmas time that we could spend, and, you know, you didn't raise your taxes. And that's something that to me, if Commissioner Glover would allow me, I would like to amend his to see what the commission thinks. Is this something that we could do? Or if not, we'll go with his proposal. Also, I was gonna ask, Mr. Bailey, on the 10 employees, have we got enough money to cover the 10 employees
The 10 employees.
for the jail?
$300,000 for court bill has come in this year, and it's just the big thing is if they send all the state prisoners to Nashville, which is not likely, they did once upon a time out of blue, but if they built a jail then, that would, allow impact in that. This year, we will be collecting more money than anticipated, that would contribute to it.
And that'll go back to our maintenance of effort. Is that not correct? Way it's collected and way you all figure it versus what the school does?
Maintenance of effort in jails, but I've never read the maintenance of effort in that. I've been in this government a long time, I've heard about it, but I never said, have you read it, worse, I've not seen it.
Well, and again, I'm getting off subject a little bit, but they're getting this, I think this is important, this maintenance of effort. I mean, that's what's, I mean, it's written against us. I mean, we've got 3 cities that we have to deal with, and that's killing us. And when they set their maintenance of effort low, and all this money comes in, that's the reason they've got money. There's a gap there, that they've got money, and that's the reason they've been able to accumulate money over the years. And we don't have a choice in it. So that, something needs to give somewhere, that if, otherwise, you know, our sheriff and everybody else is not getting enough, and the school's getting it all. So, well, if you wanna compare offices to offices, $89 million, you can compare that to the rest of everybody else put together. I'm sorry.
We are wondering a little bit, but you wanted to amend Commissioner Glover's amendment.
Let the body vote on it, and if they don't wanna do it, that's fine.
We'll do that when we get a second, and we'll discuss it. We have a second for Commissioner King's, amendment.
$500 Christmas bonus, $200 for all employees, $200 for, part-time.
I don't see a second, motion dies for lack of a second. Commissioner Glover, we're back on here, we've got folks who ask questions, Commissioner Robbins.
Thank you, Chairman. I have an amendment that we were gonna go over tonight, and, it's relevant to this discussion, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. And I would like to thank Mr. Glover, I'd like to thank Ms. Rafalowski, she's been a big help. I'd like to thank Larry Bailey, his staff, they've been a big help. We've all been looking at numbers, we've all been trying to figure out how to find a solution for this. Nobody wants to take anything away, nobody. What a lot of folks don't realize, you know, in our meeting, I did mess up on administrators. There wasn't 18 new hires, there was a lot of people moved around. But that seemed to be the focus of the discussion. What seemed to get lost in the translation was that for years we should have been taking money away due to declining enrollment and did not. That was the main factor that got lost in the weeds. Now, you know, we're forced having to pay a lot of money that in a perfect world we wouldn't be paying. That being said, in this year's budget, there's a $1.9 million bond from the ESG bond that was paid off. There's a lot of
I know
discussion.
you want to discuss this now, and, but it's kind of friggin', is it?
Yes, sir, I'll finish it up.
Relate to his? Okay.
It's relevant, yes.
You kind of, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And, you know, I've been on the phone with Nashville back and forth a lot, and that's a little bit in question. But what I want to do, I want to, and this will make all the teachers happy. Like I said, I got a lot of teacher friends, and that's a good thing. One thing they need to remember, there's 1.9 million more the BOE will have this year. So if you lose any jobs, you don't see any improvement in the classrooms, don't look at us, because you're getting 1.9 million above and beyond by me dropping this resolution. So you're going to have almost $14 million above and beyond maintenance effort. If you lose jobs, whatever, that's not on us. We're doing everything we can. I'm going to support Mr. Glover's amendment. I thank him for all his hard work on this. let's pass this thing and go home, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. Mr. Gardner, you're recognized on the amendment.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner Glover. I just have a question. You mentioned the resolution you're going to run tomorrow night in regards to the sewer circuit.
Yes, sir.
How does, that's just the right way, I only got one chance. If your amendment fails tonight, or let's say if it passes, what if your resolution tomorrow night fails? How, does that affect anything?
The resolution for tomorrow night passed the administrative committee unanimous, and it also passed the executive committee unanimous.
So this particular resolution is not contingent on passage of your, I was just, didn't want to muddy the waters, I just want to make sure I understood you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Gardner. Commissioner Cross, you're recognized.
You spoke of dropping the money for City of Bristol City Kingsport Fire Departments. You're talking about dropping this money that these are services provided to probably 51% of our county taxpayers. My issue there is it did pass unanimous at our last meeting, and I understand we're having to make cuts. I still don't think we should spend out of our general fund balance in order to make those cuts. That's a different argument. But this passed 23, one absent, in our last to fund these departments for the services provided to county taxpayers. I cannot support dropping that money. Like I said, you've got 51% of your county taxpayers that live in those two entities receiving these services that we voted to fund. I have issue with that.
That 296 was gonna come out of the general fund also.
Yes, it was. But that was, like I said, that was 296.
So you're saying that our SRO officers and our 10 employees for the jail should take a back seat to the 296 for Bristol and Kingsport?
No, sir. I'm saying that you're gonna have to pay for this somewhere down the line, like Mr. Akert said. What you're doing by spending out of this general fund balance is kicking the can down the road till next year. And you're gonna have to end up coming up with it next year. I'm fighting for this money for me, yes, for the city entities, but I will say, on a separate side of this argument, so I'm gonna leave that behind now. To pay for these SROs, to pay for the correctional officers, to spend out of our general fund balance, yes, we can do it. He has said we can do it. But you're gonna have to come up with that money again next year, and you're gonna have to raise the taxes for the jail next year.
I think we got enough revenue coming in that would overshadow that. From what I understand, it's $1 million more this year probably than last year. Would that be correct, Larry?
Million more, which?
Penny less? Revenue.
Revenue's less, but taxes that are, we've got some miscellaneous revenues that have come up some, like $350,000 water bill, it's still earning it next year. And a few others like that that's coming in, but it's not a lot, it's pretty weak strength.
So that's what I'm saying, we can make this work.
And that's my issue, making it work. I'm still of the mindset that I'm not asking for 20 cents or anything. What I am saying is you're gonna have to pay for this, and all you're doing is telling people, look, we didn't raise taxes this year. However, get ready next year. I don't know if
That's a possibility. We can't determine what's gonna happen within a year. We can't sit here and look in the crystal ball and say, okay, we're gonna have all this growth and all these expectations, and then, we can't go with that. If we could, we wouldn't even be talking about taxes at all.
I agree. You can't look in that crystal ball and say nothing bad's gonna happen here.
Sure.
I still think that this right here, like I said, we passed this unanimously at our last meeting. On to resolution number 3. I'm going back to my original statement. That was a side statement. My original statement was, we passed this unanimously. I'm not taking a backseat to anyone. I'm saying I think this should be included. It's to county taxpayers. Yes, they're city residents, but they pay this county tax just as much as anyone else does. And to limit their services is saying you're on, basically, well, we appreciate y'all paying that tax, but the services are gonna be somewhat limited from the county point of view.
Thank you, Mister.
Thank
Mr. Vance, your response to the resolution.
I just wanna make this comment, and I understand what everybody's trying to do, but I've sat here since 1994, and I have seen 7 cents, 32 cents, 27-cent tax increase. And every time we got ourselves in that situation, and I was part of it, okay? And I'm not saying I was the deciding person to put us in that situation, but every time we go into our fund balance and spend this year to operate this year and operate next year, we back ourselves up in the corner and we get those 27-cent tax increases, those 32-cent tax increases. That's exactly what we're doing again here. We're backing ourselves up, that we go from year to year, the county don't have any money. When I came back on the commission 5 years ago, the first thing we had to do was raise taxes 27 cents. Because the county didn't have the funds, and I was told that we had to raise the taxes 27 cents. Did people like that? No, they did not like that, okay? That was done 4 years that I wasn't here. But I just want to let everybody know, sure, we can make everything work this year, but we're gonna pay next year. And you call it kicking down, you can kick the can down the street or whatever you want to, but I'm telling you right now, if you keep spending out of that fund balance, and if we have a downturn in the economy, and sales tax collections drop, and revenues drop, like we did in 2008, with house foreclosures and everything, we're not prepared for that. When we spend, we don't fund as we spend. So approve this budget, but next year, when things coming up, we won't. We need to understand, we don't have the money to spend. And it's gonna be a very, very tight year, and that's, I think Mr. Bailey concurs with what I'm saying. And I've even made that statement, let's not get ourselves in trouble financially in this county to where we have to go back, like David said. Is that David Doctor? David, I didn't know his title is. Huh? King Aiken, we got him, he's a good shot by the way. He's Royal King David. But doing 20 cents is not where we need to be at. And we don't need to do double-digit tax increases going forward. Because it is hard standing here and voting for a 27-cent tax increase, which I have. And I voted for a 32-cent tax increase. And yes, I went to Food City and I got cussed out by people, the taxpayers. So if we back ourselves up in a corner and we vote to do this, no money else to spend, but if we could keep kicking that can down the street, we're gonna have major tax increases in this county. And that's when people get mad, because we not conservatively control our expenditures and ensure that we have revenue to cover what we spend. But that's where we're headed to for this motion.
Mr. Locke, you're recognized.
Herschel,
Yes, sir.
will you amend your resolution or your amendment to 257 instead of 255? That way KFD, Bristol, Tennessee Fire gets that money, the bond ratio won't change, our general fund balance won't decrease. Instead of keeping it 255, and let's move the county forward.
Let's do 255 and do the SROs and the 10 employees for the jail and 2% raise for.
We're still losing the money from the Kingsport Fire and Bristol, Tennessee Fire.
If we open that can with the other fire departments, the county fire departments, we're gonna have to come up with a lot more money than the 296,000 that we're talking about for the Bristol and Kingsport.
The county fire departments and the upper and lower end of Sullivan counties,
They were told not to ask for no money last year, they were told not to ask for no money this year.
they're already taken care of.
And I think in fairness to them, that we need to abide by that.
They're already taken care of. The money's already there and been appropriated. Will you do a 256 increase instead of 255? That way everybody's taken care of and the general fund balance is taken care of, and we won't see a bond ratio change?
I think we'll stay at 255. Let's vote it up or down.
Let's take a vote.
I believe, Mr. Glover rejected your amendment. Mr. Cross.
Just wanted to clarify what Hunter said, they are already taken care of, it's not an increase at all. And my point is, I'm not asking for more money for them, there is none at that right now. That was all I wanted to clarify what he said.
Okay, we have a proper motion on the floor. You've heard it. We've had discussion. Any further discussion?
Have we got this on the board? And I've lost track of the number, so amendment to item 2, by Mr. Sullivan, when the board opened the cast your vote. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
15 yes, 8 no, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, amendment to item 2 is adopted. And so back to you as amended, Mr. Vance. You want to pass the amended resolution. You did, that doesn't do it. You've got to pass your resolution before the amendment counts.
Which one's that, sir? Oh, tax rate.
The tax rate.
Well, I guess I ain't got them tools.
It's a while, and honestly, I just had a clear spot there, and I don't know why I figured it
Got
out.
anybody out there for 258? Come on, go on.
So your amendment,
Mr.
your
Chairman,
motion.
I amend my resolution for the tax rate to be set at 255.
I second it. I third it.
Wait just a minute,
I mean, there's no sense going through this again, we ain't gonna get 262 tonight.
stop the clock, we have a proper motion on the table, properly seconded by a number of commissioners. The tape will tell. To set the tax levy in Sullivan County for fiscal year 2019-2020 to 255, with the provisions of funding 10 sheriff's department employees, 2% raise for employees, and fund the SROs who are already employed. That's the motion. Any discussion? You're ready to vote. As soon as, these long discussions have helped us because she's been able to get ahead of you, but when we do things quick, you sure you don't want to talk about this? And it's not for or against, it's just every time you do this, you change the vote. You wish to stop the vote, Mark?
Do I wish to stop the vote
Yes, because we're voting on your amendment.
at 255?
We're voting on your motion to adopt item 2 as amended, which is what Commissioner Glover just amended it to, and you're setting the tax rate, and if that passes, we're gonna move on to the appropriations bill. With a 255 tax rate, and we're gonna ask Mr. Bailey to reaffirm to you what that 255 tax rate will fund, and how much you're spent out of the fund balance
Okay.
by doing that.
I think,
It's information.
let's ask him that before we vote then.
I'm sorry?
Let's ask him before we vote.
Well, we would have been happy to do that, and if you're the sponsor of the motion, do you withdraw your motion?
Yeah, I withdraw my motion, 255.
I'm sorry?
You lost me. We took his amendment we took his amendment to fund 10 officers, the SROs, at a 2% raise.
That's exactly.
And that was to be done at 255, right? That's what
That
they-
passed, and I came back to you for comment.
Okay, I don't
What
like
you
your
wanted
comment.
to do, about what you wanted to do with the resolution under consideration.
Well, I
And
mean,
you renewed your motion by amending your resolution to 255.
well, I mean, you got me confused. I don't know why we're gonna try to push the resolution for 262 when we voted just a minute ago to fund it at 255.
252 is not on
262's on the board.
262, yes.
So what do you want the tax rate on your resolution?
That's pretty good.
We're gonna pass 255.
That's pretty good. Where you are right now.
I said I amended our budget to I amended this resolution to 255, set the tax rate at 255.
That's what Commissioner Glover just did, and we're back on your resolution as amended. And now we want to know, do you want to vote on that resolution or that motion or withdraw? That's
I'll just withdraw the resolution, but we have to have a resolution to set the tax rate, right?
I'm sorry?
We have to have.
We have to have a
to
resolution to
set
set the tax rate. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We voted for amendment, which should have been part of the tax rate, so I'll make a motion to amend the tax rate to 255 to be on record, because that's what we started at.
I'll second.
I mean,
No, I don't think we have a proper understanding of what we're voting on right now. Mark, you're setting the tax rate for the fiscal year at 255. Is that what you want to do?
it's not what I want to do, but that's what I'm gonna get to vote on.
I'm sorry,
I don't understand.
Is that your motion? Do you renew your motion for passage? As it has been amended, you moved to pass 251. That was the original motion.
No, question on 261.
It's been amended, that's all.
Let's take a recess.
We're in recess. 15 minutes.